All right, so welcome everyone. We're kicking off something kind of special today.
Yeah, we're doing like a three-part deep dive, calling it From DCS to Delivery.
We're digging into this Amadeus white paper about how the airline industry is shifting away from the old departure control systems, those clunky DCS, towards something way more traveler-centric. So today we're going to deep dive into that shift, from the tech behind it to how it's going to impact your travel experience.
It's a complete paradigm shift. It's exciting stuff. We're not just talking about like little tweaks here and there. It is like a whole new way of thinking about things.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, can we break down how this new system actually works?
Sure.
Amadeus keeps mentioning offer, order, and delivery. It sounds a bit like ordering takeout.
It's not a bad analogy, actually. The offer is kind of like when you browse the menu, you see all the flight options, different seat types, maybe an upgrade or two. Then when you actually book your flight and select those extras, that becomes your order. That's like the single source of truth for everything you've purchased. And finally, the journey delivery system. Think of that like the kitchen and the delivery driver, making sure all the pieces come together at the right time and place to get that food, or in our case, get you to your destination smoothly.
So it's not just about the flight itself, it's about creating everything that goes into a seamless trip.
Yeah, exactly a seamless trip.
Yeah, but what happens when things go wrong? Delays happen, bags get lost. Does this new system address that?
Absolutely. That's a huge part of it, actually. Amadeus is really emphasizing service recovery as like a core part of this approach. There are two modules that work together. You've got a journey delivery, which we've just discussed.
Right. That keeps things moving smoothly.
Exactly under normal circumstances. But then when, you know, a wrench gets thrown in the works, you've got service recovery that steps in to manage those disruptions. So whether it's a delayed flight, a missed connection, or even lost luggage, the system's designed to proactively find solutions and keep you informed.
That sounds fantastic. But let's talk about the bottom line. What does all of this mean for me as a traveler? Why should I care about this new system?
Okay, so it really comes down to two main things. Improved revenue for airlines, which can actually lead to better deals for you.
Okay.
Increased efficiency, so less time wasted and smoother journeys than just like an overall enhanced customer experience.
Okay, those are compelling reasons.
Yeah.
Let's start with revenue. I'm curious how this system helps airlines generate more income.
So think about it this way. Under the old system, airlines had a limited window, usually around check-in, to offer upgrades or extra services. Now, thanks to smarter technology and real-time data, they can personalize offers at every stage of your journey, from the moment you start searching for flights to after you land.
Oh, wow.
So let's say you arrive at the airport earlier than expected, and the system picks up on that, and through an agent or the app offers you a spot on an earlier flight.
So the system's actually responding to what's happening in real time.
Exactly. And it also passes that context so other airline systems can generate smart, relevant options based on your situation, not just your booking history.
So it's not just about sending people random offers.
No, not at all. It's about understanding their needs and offering relevant options at the right time. And that benefits both the traveler, who might get a great deal, and the airline, who can potentially sell seats or services that might have gone unused otherwise.
That makes sense. But what about efficiency?
So efficiency is a big one. This new system has the potential to make travel, honestly, a lot less of a hassle.
How so?
One of the biggest changes Amadeus is proposing is something called Ready to Fly. Imagine this. You walk straight through the airport, no check-in.
Wait, how does that even work?
So by combining digital engagement through the airline's app, data from airport touchpoints, or even real-time location tracking through your phone, the system can confirm you're at the airport and ready to travel, obviously only if you've chosen to share your location.
So it's like it's connecting the dots and saying, okay, this person is here. They've interacted with the app.
Right. They'll go through security first, of course, and then make their way to the gate. So it's clear they intend to fly, which means no more waiting in lines to check in.
Right.
No more scrambling for your boarding pass. It also means airlines can potentially repurpose all that space that's currently dedicated to check-in counters. Maybe create more comfortable waiting areas or even offer additional services.
I have to admit, the thought of breezing through the airport without the usual check-in chaos is very appealing. But what about things like travel document checks?
Right. So those can really slow things down, especially at international airports. Amadeus is tackling that too. The white paper outlines a vision where much of the document verification happens digitally well in advance of you arriving at the airport. Think like pre-travel verification of visas and passports, all managed seamlessly within the system.
So no more last-minute panic about whether you have the right visa or scrambling to find your passport at the bottom of your bag.
Exactly. No more of that. And it goes beyond just eliminating the paper chase.
Okay, all of this sounds incredibly futuristic, but I also have to wonder what happens to the airport staff.
That's a great question. And it's one that Amadeus addresses directly. The vision isn't about replacing humans.
Okay,
It's about empowering airport staff to provide, more personalized, higher value services.
okay, so like instead of being tied to those check-in desks, they could focus on assisting passengers.
Exactly.
Right, like offering travel advice or just creating, a more welcoming, helpful airport environment. So it's about leveraging technology to free up staff to focus on things that actually require a human touch, the things that, only humans can do.
Exactly. The travel experience, by combining those personalized offers, streamlined processes, more attentive staff, this new system aims to create a travel experience that's just less stressful, more efficient, and ultimately more enjoyable for everyone.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a real sense of how this could change the way we travel for the better. It sounds like we're moving towards a future where technology enhances the travel experience.
That's the goal. That's the whole point. And it all starts with these fundamental principles that Amadeus highlights in the white paper.
Okay, what are those?
So this new system is built on what they call traveler centricity, which means, you know, understanding and anticipating your needs to provide better service and build loyalty.
Right.
It's also open and modular, which means it can connect with various airline and non-airline systems for a more holistic approach. So, pulling in data about your hotel, your transportation, even things like destination activities.
Okay.
And then it's data enabled. So it brings together everything relevant: your flight, the services you've booked or purchased, and any events that might impact your trip to deliver the right level of service at the right time.
But we'll dive deeper into those specific capabilities and what they mean for you as a traveler in the next episode.
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot to unpack there.
This is all really fascinating stuff. But before we move on, can you give us a quick rundown of the key features that make this system so revolutionary? I want to make sure our listeners have a clear understanding of what to look forward to.
Okay, so let's start with personalized retailing. In terms of creating a more tailored travel experience.
Okay, so give me an example. How would this work in practice?
Okay, let's say your flight gets delayed. Instead of just sitting there fuming, you might get a notification on your phone offering you access to an airport lounge at a discounted rate.
That would be nice.
Or maybe you've just landed in a new city and the system, knowing your interests, suggests a walking tour that fits perfectly with your available time.
So it's about anticipating needs and offering solutions that actually make sense for the traveler.
Exactly. And because the system is constantly learning, adapting based on your behavior and feedback, those offers become more and more relevant over time.
This all sounds very promising, but I also have to wonder about people who are uncomfortable sharing their data. Is there a way to opt out of all this personalization?
Privacy is a real concern for a lot of travelers. While the system's designed to use data responsibly, how that's handled will depend on local regulations and the specific airline's policies.
Okay, good to know.
But I think for a lot of travelers, the convenience and the benefits of a more tailored journey will outweigh those privacy concerns.
That makes sense. It's about finding the right balance between personalization and privacy.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, this opens up a world of possibilities. For example, imagine you're on your way to the airport and you realize you forgot to pack a travel adapter. With this new system, you could just order one through the airline's app and it'll be waiting for you at the gate.
Wow, that's handy.
right? Or let's say you're traveling with young children. You could like pre-order meals or entertainment options that would be delivered right to your seat on the plane.
It's like the travel experience becomes much more fluid and responsive to the traveler's needs.
And that's a great way to put it. The system helps make timely adjustments and offer solutions to keep the journey running smoothly.
Okay, all of this really points to a more personalized and seamless travel experience. But I'm curious, how does this new system handle something like seat selection?
Right. Amadeus has some innovative ideas around that too. Instead of just picking from, a generic seating chart, the system can transform seating into a true product. Imagine being able to browse seats based on specific attributes, like extra legroom, window views, proximity to power outlets.
So it's about giving travelers more control and transparency when it comes to choosing their seats.
Exactly. And if for operational reasons your seat has to be changed, the system would proactively notify you, offer alternative options, maybe even compensation, ensuring that fairness and transparency throughout the process.
That's a far cry from the current system where, seat changes often feel like a last-minute scramble with little regard for the passenger's preferences.
Right. And this focus on customer centricity extends to other aspects of the travel experience as well. For example, the white paper talks about modernizing the airport experience by using technology to streamline processes, reduce those wait times, and just create a more welcoming environment.
I'm particularly interested in the idea of retiring travel document checks. Those can be a real bottleneck, especially for international travel. How does the system propose to make this process more efficient?
So the vision is to move towards a system of digital documentation and pre-travel verification, eliminating a lot of the paper-based process that we're used to today. Imagine uploading your passport and visa information, well in advance, allowing the system to verify everything digitally and eliminate the need for manual checks at the airport.
So, no more fumbling with passports and visa forms at the immigration counter.
That's the idea. And to make things more efficient, Amadeus is looking at how airlines can complete required checks earlier. For instance, verifying your passport or visa details digitally, even before you get to the airport.
So, like the airline giving you a heads up, you're all set before you leave for your trip.
Exactly. If everything checks out in advance, the system can tell you you're good to go. But just to be clear, you'll still need to go through standard border control at departure and again when you arrive. This just makes the airlines part smoother and less stressful for travelers.
Got it. So, it's not about skipping steps. It's about making sure everything's in order ahead of time.
Right. And that's a big part of what this system is designed to do. It connects all the moving parts. So the whole experience feels more coordinated from beginning to end. And it's this interconnectedness that enables another crucial aspect of this new approach, what they call simplified customer service and flight operations.
I'm curious to learn more about how this new system can simplify things for passengers and airline staff.
Okay, say a flight's delayed due to bad weather. Today, tools like Amadeus Passenger Recovery help manage that, but agents still do a lot manually, and travelers don't always get clear, consistent updates. The new system automates that process, it looks at your whole trip, and keeps communication consistent across every channel.
So it's about removing those friction points and creating a more streamlined and responsive experience for everyone involved.
Right. And with machine learning and predictive analytics, the system can anticipate disruptions, suggest alternatives, and help reduce delays or friction.
This paints a compelling picture of where travel is going.
And there's definitely a lot of excitement around how data and smarter systems can improve travel, from faster processing to better service recovery.
Right? And Amadeus hints at this in their white paper. I'm curious to dig into how these systems actually help personalize and streamline the journey.
It's a topic that gets people excited, and maybe a little nervous, and for good reason. These systems are evolving fast with more coordination, smarter decisions, better recovery. It's exciting to see how much of the journey can now adapt in real time.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's important to understand how it works and what it means for us as travelers.
So, beyond smoother operations, how does this actually help personalize the travel experience?
So that's where journey orchestration comes into play.
Journey orchestration?
Yeah, it's about connecting all the moving parts of your trip. From what you've booked to how it gets delivered, the system helps retailers and their partners stay in sync so everything runs smoothly.
Got it. So if something changes, like a delay, everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. It helps make the whole experience feel more coordinated, even when things don't go exactly as planned.
Who knows exactly what kind of pillow I like and has my favorite drink waiting for me when I board the plane?
Okay, not quite that level of luxury, but the system is getting better at making things feel more tailored.
All right, I'll take that.
It's less about perks and more about context. The system can help predict disruptions, suggest adjustments, and keep everything in sync so your experience feels smoother even when plans change.
So fewer surprises and fewer headaches.
Exactly. It's about using data smartly to reduce friction across the whole journey.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, can we quickly recap what we've learned?
Of course. Okay. So we started off by discussing how the airline industry is moving away from those outdated departure control systems towards this more traveler-centric approach that emphasizes personalization, efficiency, and overall enhanced customer experience. We then explored some of the key capabilities driving the shift. Things like personalized retailing, continuous engagement, retiring the check-in process, and streamlining travel document checks.
Right. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that technology, when used thoughtfully, has the power to transform the way we travel, making it not only more efficient, but also more enjoyable and meaningful.
Exactly. But this shift isn't just about the passenger experience. It also has major implications for operations. And that's where we're headed next.
Right. Part 2 of our 3-part series will dive into how this new approach supports airline operations and service recovery behind the scenes.
So whether you're thinking about the customer or the crew, there's a lot more ground to cover.
Looking forward to it. Until then, safe travels, everyone.
Safe travels.